ABBA gave something for this year's Eurovision Song Contest. We are going to talk about what happened with ABBA at the show, but also about the general criticism that this part received from many viewers. And it's not really ABBA's fault. Let's talk about it and why this was bound to fail. Hey! So, last week on the channel we discussed the possibilities of what would happen with ABBA at Eurovision. For ardent fans and followers of ABBA, one thing was clear for over 1 year now. We knew that the members of ABBA would not reunite for this show in any way. They made this clear several times before. So this is what actually happened. ABBA prepared an actual excerpt from their Voyage show in London. It was a segment towards the end of the Voyage show, introducing their song Waterloo. For the first time, we got to see a lengthy excerpt of the show and got to hear a lengthy excerpt of a Voyage live version, namely 1 minute of Waterloo. This video excerpt was very well done, as it was in some form virtually filmed so that the avatars appeared spatial and three-dimensional on the TV screen. Now, you can still debate if the avatars really work on the TV screen. In my opinion, I'm not quite sure if it works that well on television, especially when it comes to close-up shots of the avatars. And that's exactly the reason why ABBA and the team have been and continue to be reluctant to release the show in any other way. I have seen Voyage in London, and I can promise you that it has a very different feeling if you are there in person, inside the arena, with the audience and with ABBA's avatars being spatially in front of you, performing the concert. It's out of this world in the most positive sense. On television, not so much, again, in my opinion. In addition to the basically recycled footage from the show, we could also hear newly recorded audio messages from Björn and Benny at the beginning and at the end, while the avatars were seen from afar. Björn and Benny gave greetings to Malmö and sent their good luck wishes. And that was ABBA's contribution for Eurovision this year. As I said, we knew going in that nothing sensational in the form of any kind of reunion would be happening. But I read many comments and criticism that people are very disappointed, and honestly, I can't really blame them. Not because ABBA didn't show up. That's something I personally did not really wish for as part of this Eurovision show. But I can understand the disappointment in the general viewing audience, and it's because of Eurovision and Swedish television. They were teasing the entire evening that something big was coming up tonight, knowing and mentioning several times that this is ABBA's 50th anniversary year. They teased that they were going to bring back a Swedish band. They teased that this band starts with the letter A. They teased that this band was reuniting tonight. They were obviously teasing for the reunion of ABBA. When the moment came, that band turned out to be Swedish disco band Alcazar. The joke is on you, and it's not even funny. So here is what I'm seriously wondering about. Why would anyone want to create suspense and expectations for something that you just don't have, that you cannot deliver? It's not funny, it's not creative, you're simply, in my opinion, letting everyone in the audience down, everyone who didn't know better, by not being able to deliver, but still trying to set the expectations and hopes so high. You take your viewers for a fool. It's an insult to your audience. You are bound to fail. Why would anyone do that? I don't quite get it. The second problem was that after the fake out with the Alcazar reunion, you are now going on with the actual ABBA part of the show. And then again, of course, it turns out not to be the ABBA reunion that you were obviously teasing the entire evening. So they basically built to a climax which they simply didn't have. Why? Why would anyone do that? Now they are getting all the backlash and criticism which could have been avoided from the beginning. Why make it so big if you don't have anything really? I'm getting harsh now for a change, but this is just my reflection, my opinion. All of this fake out execution was pathetic. And that's just this one part of the show. They created this problem by themselves, and it was completely unnecessary and avoidable. I don't know, maybe I missed something, maybe I don't understand any bigger meaning, but this is my perception of the whole thing. It was bound to fail. And again, I'm not specifically talking about ABBA's contribution itself. They said from the beginning, no reunion. We talked about it last week. I'm not talking about their contribution and the ABBA Voyage excerpt. This was about Eurovision and Swedish television, how they took ABBA's contribution and how they executed it. So, that was one of my very rare rants, if there ever was one. I don't intend to spoil the joy or excitement that anyone might have had, but I simply wanted to try to understand what happened and why it happened this way. Let's try to keep it civilized in the comment section below, but share all your feelings and thoughts that you have. Apart from all the failure of Eurovision and Swedish TV, I told you all about the actual contribution, ABBA's Voyage excerpt. And I want to stress once again, from my point of view, thank you to ABBA for sharing an excerpt from the Voyage show and for giving us a lengthy excerpt of a Voyage song performance, even if it's only 1 minute. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. Alright, until then, hey do!